If you've ever stayed in a relationship too long, hoping that things would get better, but deep down you know they never would, this video is for you. Let's break down the signs so that you know when is the right time to leave. By the end of this video, you're going to have 8 steps that you can put in place so you will know whether it's right or wrong for you personally to leave your relationship. I got you. First of all, leaving a relationship is not a failure. It's about making conscious decisions for both of you to protect your well-being. There also might be children involved, and it's a tragic decision to make, no doubt, but sometimes if you stay, it's going to be worse for them too. The decision to leave is one of courage, self-growth, and awareness. And a reminder that relationships are a constant test of your values, and you must never give up on love. And just quickly, let me share a personal story. I remember being in a relationship for many years. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I kept going back and forward. So I really get the pain that you're going through by watching this. And I want you to know you're not alone. I got you. It's normal to question your worth. It's normal to question every area of your life because of it. And it's not a good place to be. And I remember when I finally made that decision, although it was damaging and it was heartbreaking, a reflection back after a year, both of us were in a much better position. So it's going to be okay. So I'm excited to help you. And don't play hard to get with me. Hit that subscribe. Number one, you got to rate how bad your current feelings are. You got to put what I call a temp check, 1 to 10. And the reason that you have to do this is that it can be very emotional, and sometimes you can complicate these sorts of things by talking about your emotions too much. You know how people like to complain and they repeat the same thing, and because they keep repeating the same thing over and over again, it amplifies the actual pain. So you have to be clear on really how bad the pain is. 10, you've got no chance of making it work. It's verbal abuse, it's physical abuse, you've got to get out of there. But if it's not at that really dangerous level, then maybe that's an indication that you can actually work on it. The questions that you can consider, are these recurring patterns? Is it just a rough place that you're going through now, or is it something that can actually get better in the future? Are there any particular recurring behaviors that are amplifying these feelings? Do they fluctuate according to circumstance? And so you get a real understanding of how real it is for you right now. Number 2, you've got to assess your past feelings. If you can still access moments where you were really happy, moments where you really enjoyed yourself, moments where you really had that special connection, if you can still access them, that's really good, because that means that there's real love there. There's something worth actually saving. Remind yourself what was working really well at the beginning, what was happening at the beginning that's no longer there now. And if you were to retrack some of the behaviors, I'm sure you'd find that most people, what happens in most relationships is they take each other for granted and they stop doing the things that actually attracted to them in the beginning. Do you notice when those feelings started to shift for you? Did something particularly happen, or was it gradually over a time period? 3, it's essential to check what have you done already, what you committed to doing. Now, sometimes people will say, I've tried everything, Ed. I guarantee you haven't tried everything. You can't. There's so many things that you could keep on testing, and all relationships are a breakdown of a misalignment. Communication is the key. A relationship is defined by the space in which we connect with each other. For example, me and you, we could have this great relationship, but we only know each other on this level. How you are with different people in your life is defined by the space of which you connect. You're different with your friends, you're different with your partner, you're different with your parents, and it's defined by the gap in which you relate to each other. Everything is about communication. And although you've been working on lots, are there any issues that you could still give some hope to resolve? Because I'm sure there are. 4, you've got to assess the knock-on effect. How is it going to affect if there are children? How is it affecting your mental health? How is it affecting your overall well-being? This is very important because it's going to be pivotal for helping you make your decision. You've got to weigh out what's the cost of staying and what's the cost of leaving. And when I say cost, I don't mean financially alone. I mean, what's the mental cost? What's the actual payoff by staying? Consider those areas, and what I recommend is start writing this list down and start going through this, me and you together, so that you can build a real reflective process around whether you're going to make the right decision or not for you. Number 6, do you have any hope left? If you do, then we're in a good place to keep working on it. But if you're sitting there watching this going, I've got 0 hope left and I'm not willing to do any work, then you've got your answer then. However, if you've got hope, that's all you need, and a little bit of oomph and desire to actually bring the love back, that's all we need. And my core belief is that any relationship can be fixed if you're willing to do the work. Which leads us to number 7, which is the major last point, but you got to commit. If you're willing to do the work, you got to commit to 90 days of reciprocation, 90 days of giving without asking for anything back in return. You're watching this right now, I'm working with you. If your partner was watching this, I'd be saying the same thing to them. Now, this isn't about blame. This is about sacrificing yourself, which sounds submissive, but it's not, because you're the better communicator. You're someone who has to lead. Otherwise, we're just playing relationship problems with like a game of tennis. We just hit the problem back and forward, right? If no one takes ownership over the problem, and you're watching this right now, so I'm talking to you, you take ownership and you commit to 90 days of giving to your partner without asking for anything in return. Now, the science behind this is that we need to see if they can start reciprocating, right? And so that they will start to ask what needs to be fulfilled. If you say for 90 days, I'm going to find out all of the needs that they need and meet them, then I promise you, you're going to find reciprocation back. And it's going to change the past patterns. And so over that 90 days, we're talking zero negativity, zero blaming, zero guilting, no destructive relationship patterns that have destroyed your relationship up until now. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you're willing to save it, this is the ultimate test. This is the last thing that you can do. And most people say to me, oh, I tried that, and then they gave up like 3 days in, or they gave up 7 days in. It's 90 days, right? It means that you find out all of their needs and you have to fulfill those needs. Needs are like a Tamagotchi. You have to fill up the Tamagotchi with the things that they want, right? And you'll say, I've been doing that, but maybe you're not giving what they really need. Maybe you're giving them something else that you think they need, but they don't. And maybe you have no real understanding to what they need to be told. And I'll be honest with you, most people don't, because that's why there's a misalignment. If their needs were being met, you wouldn't be in this position. Trust me, this is worth it. It will save you a divorce. It will save you all the heartache. It's not the grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. So I'm a massive fan of not giving up in these instances and committing to do the work. So you actually find out, are you capable of giving at that level, and are they capable of reciprocation? And if they're not, then you've got your answer. At number 8, here's my closing thoughts for you. Whether you stay or leave, this process is about making a decision that aligns with your value, with your future goals, because you're not alone. Hit that subscribe. I got you.